Welcome back to Rumi Gold, where quiet mastery begins. What if the loudest signal of abundance was silence, not noise? What if you could let go of chasing and let the right things come to you? What if your bank account was just a mirror for the energy you bring to a morning? What if growth didn't look like more effort, just a lighter touch? And what if every dollar could arrive without costing your peace? Today we explore, not as a tactic, but as a truth. Imagine this. A man sits in a garden just before dawn. There's a chill in the air. He can feel it on his bare arms. The sky is gray-blue. Birds are awake before the city. He hears them, a high, clear call in the branches. Underneath, the hum of a city not yet fully awake. His coffee sits cooling beside him. He hears a car, distant on wet pavement. A reminder, the world is already moving, but he is not. Beneath his hands, there's a tremor, not dramatic, just the residue of nights spent inside spreadsheets and unchecked notifications. He knows the tension in his lower back by name. He remembers the feeling from a year ago, standing in the shower, already behind, mind running numbers in circles. He remembers holding his phone late at night, scrolling as if the next deal would fill the hole. It never did. The noise was endless, but the fullness elusive. Sit with this. Where in your life have you made yourself busy, just to avoid a confrontation with emptiness? Where has your pursuit of more of income, validation, status led to less sleep, less trust, less peace? What's the actual cost of postponing presence until after you arrive? Let that breathe. He exhales, and something shifts. He can finally hear his own breathing beneath the sound of birds. There's a raw honesty here, not all wounds, not needing to win or to fix or to wake up already arrived. He's just here, and underneath everything, there's a longing for a wealth that feels like home, not conquest. You already feel it, that tension between striving and arrival. You already know the ache of proving and the weight of performing. There's something here. Stay with it. Most of us grew up believing that if we just hustle a little harder, if we grip a little tighter, then money will finally land and stay. That's the myth louder than almost any other myth out there. Every billboard, every coffee shop conversation, every late night scroll on your phone, it keeps repeating, push more, rush more, prove more, and you'll have more. But, have you noticed? The more you chase, the further money seems to run. The tighter your grip, the less there is to grasp. It's a strange thing. Like clutching at water, it just slips through clenched fingers, never giving itself to you fully. That's what most people do. Grabbing, forcing, exhausting themselves in the name of being responsible. But ending up tired, not wealthy. Let that echo. Somewhere along the way, we confused being stressed with being productive. We thought anxiety was a badge of seriousness. We confused urgency for importance. And the world, our bosses, our mentors, even our families, rewarded us for it, with praise for every hour we sacrificed. But if you stand in a river and try to scoop up the current with your bare hands, you end up wet, not quenched. The river keeps moving no matter your effort. Wealth is like current, too. It moves with or without your panic. Sometimes, what looks like hustle is just a man standing knee-deep in flow, missing the whole point. There's nothing to prove. Here's another angle. We treat tools like tactics. We stack strategies. We sign up for webinars, download ebooks, test hacks, and funnels. But these are just tools, not the source. It's like sharpening a knife all day and never actually cutting an apple. Tools mean nothing if you're not aligned with the deeper current. Hustle is not flow. Fear is not caution. Strain is not mastery. There's nothing wrong with using tools, but they're supposed to serve clarity, not replace it. This isn't about being right. Most quietly, the greatest mistake is disconnection. Not just from money, but from the feeling of money. You get paid, but you barely pause. You spend, but you don't really look. Your bank balance changes, but you haven't breathed with it not even once this year. Money flows, but you, Dan T, feel the current hit S, like standing at the edge of a field at sunrise, too busy on your phone to see the color of the sky. Nature has a rhythm: winter, spring, summer, fall. Rivers rise and recede. Trees don't panic if the leaves drop in October. They know another season comes. Wealth, when it's real, moves in cycles. Sometimes it arrives in a wave. Sometimes it sits quietly underground, building something at the roots. If you keep forcing the fruit before it's ripe, you break it. If you keep pulling at the river, you just muddy the water. The discipline is in the patience. The wisdom is in noticing. You already know this. There's no blame in missing it. Everyone has. This isn't about shame or regret. It's about seeing. The first. Ever notice how the brightest ideas show up? Not as noise, but as quiet. What if the difference between tension and wealth is who you are in the first 5 minutes of your day? What if you could make your mornings into a tuning fork for abundance? Before the world gets a word in, picture yourself at the kitchen table, hands on your knees. No phone, no agenda, no endless tabs, just you, just now. 5 minutes, that's it. Stillness is a currency most men never touch it. You don't need another productivity app. You need a moment when profit isn't the goal. Presence is. The quiet before emails, calls, dollars, and deals. That's the ground where true prosperity walks in. Not storming, but waiting to be received. Take a breath right now. Inhale slow, hold, let it out. Again inhale, hold, release. Last one draw, in breath, pause, exhale. Feel your spine heavy. Notice how nothing is required of you in this second. That's the space where wealth wants to land. A client of mine traded checking his inbox first thing for 5 minutes, size closed, tracking his breath. He said by Friday he was writing proposals from calm, not chase. Another man, the entrepreneur type, did the same, and his face changed. Clients could feel it. His phone didn't own him. Calm became his edge, trust his currency. The lotus doesn't fight the mud. It rises clean every morning, untouched by what tried to cloud it. Stillness does that for you. Every day, a new route for abundance. It's not the minutes that matter, it's the message you send to your body. Prosperity is welcome when I am quiet. When frenzy fades, sufficiency grows. That's how you stop flooding your field with scarcity. This isn't about motivation. That's the discipline. When did a transaction just become a number and not a moment? When did tracking what flows in and out become a chore, not a sign of respect? What if money was a living record waiting for you to witness instead of judge? Let it breathe every evening before the world closes. There is a discipline most will avoid. It's nothing loud, just one man, a notebook, or a document glowing in a quiet room, writing down what entered, what left, income, payment, refund, expense, investment, $1 here, 100 there, sometimes more, sometimes less. Not to shame or congratulate, but to notice. Noticing is the beginning of reverence. Numbers in the ledger are more than entries. They are prayer beads strung on the thread of your attention, each one an offering of gratitude. You already know this. There was a woman I sat with. Years spent dreading her own bookkeeping. One day, she made it a ritual. No background noise, no haste, just her breath, those numbers. Within 2 months, her own hands revealed a pattern she hadn't wanted to see. Small expenses, unremembered in the blur. She caught them in the light, turned a river of leaks into a choice, redirected her float award investments she'd named in her quiet moments. The numbers obeyed her clarity. That's the discipline. In the old books of Kabbalah, they say prosperity is light and the soul is a vessel. What you track, you tend. Every record is proof. I am ready to hold more. When you write a figure, you hold the vessel up to the sun, daring the world to fill it. Quietly, daily, with nothing to prove. I used to count money with fear in my throat. Would there be enough? If I didn't check, maybe scarcity would stay quiet. It never did. It grew louder. Only when I sat pen in hand, presence in heart, did the numbers become still. They grew as I grew with them. Gratitude is the only fuel that multiplies quietly. Let that land. Ritual isn't dramatic. It's measured. It's tender. It's a conversation, not a confrontation. Seeing your flow is like building a friendship with your own life. Wealth isn't noise. It is noticing. Intimacy replaces avoidance. Clarity gathers where reverence is kept. This isn't about motivation. How many mornings have you woken up, already scattered, before the sun is up? How much energy do you lose, just because you never gave yourself permission to say no? What would happen if you stopped pouring yourself into everything, and just let one thing become real? What would change if your boundaries were not a wall, but the banks of your river? Let's sit with that. Here is what never changes. A man's time is his field. There are only so many steps you can take in a day. Most people run in circles, watering weeds, checking too many boxes, picking up calls they never wanted to answer. Day after day, the field gets trampled, but nothing grows strong. Everyone wants to launch 5 new things, try 10 new lanes, say yes to every request. They end up tired, but never truly known for anything. Their river dries out before it reaches the sea. Picture what changes when one boundary is set. Maybe you write it down in the morning, just one, nothing dramatic. No more calls before noon. Social media doesn't cross the table till after lunch. A commitment to rest, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Then here the pivot to take the clean energy that left and pour it into one thing. Your signature work. Maybe it's a program, maybe it's a service, maybe it's the gift that bears your real name, not the public one, but the one only your closest people see. Suddenly, the scattered drops become a current. The river deepens. That what happened to the coach who stopped launching 5 things and let her energy gather around one program? It became the source, the stream that fed everything else. No drama, just discipline. Let that land. Think of a river, how it gathers and flows. If it tries to go everywhere at once, it loses itself in the rocks. But with banks, it moves with power. Even Christ withdrew from the crowd, retreated, reset, returned. If clarity needed protection even then, what makes us think we're immune? Boundaries are what make the vessel unbreakable. One offering, well tended, draws the right eyes. It's not about being everywhere, but being alive in the one place you're truly called to be. Calm, directed, magnetic. Maybe this is what clarity sounds like. If you want proof, don't look at a motivational poster. Look at a chair left untouched in a quiet room. Look at a morning where you write your boundary and keep it. Look at the face of a man who knows what he's guarding and what he's building. That's the discipline. If you want to experiment, try this. Take a blank page right now. Write down one boundary you'll protect this week. Something simple, nothing loud. Then below it, name the one signature offering you'll pour into. Decide. Cross out everything else. Fold the page. Keep it in your pocket. Come back to it when you feel scattered. Let the river find its banks again. That's what builds quiet power. Let's just pause here. Feel your feet on the ground. You already know the power of stillness. That slow morning breath, even before the sun moves. It isn't about how much you do or how quickly you act. It's about the ground you bring with you into the day. You do not need to force. Let that land. You already know sacred simplicity, sitting with what's here, noting your flows, material and otherwise, like a monk with a ledger. Your attention is the light, and your hands are the gatekeepers. Money isn't earned through fear. It moves in the direction of trust. That's the discipline. And you already know your energy has a container. A river needs banks. Your clear boundaries. Let what's real in and keep what's not out. Protect your presence. Respect your offering. There's nothing to prove. These aren't tasks. These are your rituals. Small, hard things. Quiet, repeated. Here's what I know, bone deep. I move from silence. I move from silence. My wealth is anchored. My wealth is anchored. I am a steward, not a chaser. I am a steward, not a chaser. My boundaries are sacred. My boundaries are sacred. My work is devotion. My work is devotion. Abundance flows where respect lives. Abundance flows where respect lives. What I honor expands. What I honor expands. Stillness brings clarity. Stillness brings clarity. I lead from clarity. I lead from clarity. I lead from clarity. May the quiet you carry shape every fortune you touch.